and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. The word of the Lord. I have volunteered a lot of my time with these awesome kids, and I have been busy, like they are, since I was their age. At first, my time was divided up between school, dance, and a part-time job. That was my life until I graduated from Alma College. Then I got a job and worked about 60 to 70 hours a week. That was pretty intense. I wasn't coming to church or volunteering with the youth activities anymore, so I changed jobs, started volunteering more, got a second job, managed my time so I could keep volunteering with the kids. I got yet another new job, gave up the second job, and continued to volunteer with the kids. And here I am standing in front of you with two jobs, one of them being the director of youth ministry, and I am completely thrilled about it. Why is my addiction to a constantly full schedule something that you should know about? Well, it isn't. What you do need to know about is why I always have a full schedule. I have felt a call to work with the youth since I was in high school. First, it was small and quiet, so I did small things in places where I already spent my time. I taught dance to 5-year-olds. Pretty intense, too. Surprisingly, calls from God don't get quieter when you start to follow them. At least it didn't for me. I graduated from high school thinking I was all clear. I knew what I was going to do for the rest of my life and what God wanted me to do for the rest of my life. I had a plan. But you know what God says, what people say about having a plan. We plan, and God laughs. In college, I heard God's laugh. I started volunteering with Big Brothers Big Sisters as a result. Turns out that God didn't just want me to teach kids how to dance. I thought I had it all figured out because what he wanted me to do was teach in general. I was wrong. Every time I think I have it figured out, God finds a way to laugh. I have to take the time to listen, the time to understand what God is telling me, and the time to learn how to do that without assuming that I've figured it all out. So when I managed to finally do that, and still remind myself that I don't have it all figured out, I was led back to working with the youth here at Grosse Ile Presbyterian Church. I was called by God to serve as youth nurture elder. As a commission, it was our duty to find a person who would be able to dedicate time, attention, and good faith to the youth at our church. As it did in college, the call started small and quiet. Eventually, it was all I could hear. The theme today is time. Our kids have chosen this because they see time so differently, even amongst themselves. Some kids think about how little free time they have and feel stressed. Others see time as motivation. Regardless of how they perceive time, they use their time in ways that help them grow, each and every one of them. They take time for things that they love: sports, friends, family, band, whatever it may be. They take time for the things that they need: eating, sleeping, and learning. They take time to thank God for the blessings they have been given, ask God for help when they need it, and to bless the people they care about with the same conviction that God blesses them. Today they're doing that by sharing their gifts with you. So here is Maddie and Molly to share their gifts.
Good morning. Time. Time doesn't heal wounds. Jesus does in his time. Spending time with God puts everything in perspective. Time is a stressful yet an infinite friend. It's stressful when you're crunched for time on your way to school or on your way to work. But there are an infinite amount of chances to meet new people and to try new things. But you can also use your time to worship God, also to pray, maybe for things to get better, because things take time. Time is so precious. There are 24 hours in a day, yet we don't think it's enough. Cramped with work papers, homework, and sports. Even though I don't go to a job every day, I know that it's stressful, but balancing between my basketball team, homework, and having a social life, it's difficult. Between waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and not being able to go to bed at least until 9:45 or 10 o'clock at night. Being a teenager and having a rough time with school and friends, I know that God is working to make things better in time for me. When I have a fight or a disagreement with a friend, I pray to God that He will work in my favor so that my friend and I would get better. Things take a while and they take time. As I pray for patience, forgiveness, and kindness. I know God is on my side because He has the time to help me. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can send it. But once you've lost it, you can never get it back. Have you ever taken the time to listen to God or make it worth your time? When you listen to God and listen to His voice, He renews your strength and enables you to handle life. But remember, things take time. If you find yourself a bit irritated or overwhelmed, it could be a sign that you're spending less time with God and more in this irritating and overwhelming world. As it says in Mark chapter 13, verses 32 through 33, "But about the day or hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Be on guard, be alert. You do not know when the time will come."
Hi, I'm Molly O'Brien, and this is my take on time. So time, it's that round disc with numbers that drives people's lives. Some people might have busier lives than others, but we all have that strong obsession of time. In our youth group, we decided people were categorized on a scale. On one end, we have people like myself who consider themselves living in the moment. We loosely define this as people who don't think or stress about things in the future, but instead take things as they come organically. On the other end of the scale, we have those whose lives are outlined in a schedule. Although it is almost impossible to be 100% on one or the other side, we strive for one. My nonsensical mind somehow adapted to this strange way of scheduling events where I subtract time from the time I have to do something. For example, if I have something at 3 in the afternoon, then I need 30 minutes to get ready, and then 15 minutes for driving, so like 2:15, and then you need to keep coming up with these events that take you back all the way till 1 in the afternoon when you're getting out of bed and telling yourself, dang it, I really wanted to sleep in. Unfortunately, there are a few things we forget to incorporate. Firstly, we have God. Obviously, big number one. How do we forget something that is number one? 1 John 2:17 says that the world and its desires pass away, but whoever does the will of God lives forever.
Looking back at that first part, when it stated the world and its desires pass away, we surround ourselves in items and activities that we look forward to, or we really don't look forward to, and they block out what's really important. As I say that, I imagine a solar eclipse as our imaginary priorities block out God while God tries to shine his light through to reach us. Matthew 6:33 says that if you seek God and his righteousness, all these things will be added to you. When I was writing this, I looked back to remember the other thing I forgot to incorporate into my schedule, and my mind immediately went to, I need more time. Sometimes it feels like we just need more time. More time for sleep, more time for happiness, and more time for friends and family. Ecclesiastes helps us understand that God intentionally made the time we have in a day for a reason. Verse 10 specifically addresses that God has applied a burden to us as humans. You could say that burden could be several things relating to time. It could be that God only gave us 60 minutes to determine that the Patriots are superior to the Rams. It could be that we have to wait a staggering and tedious couple days before hearing election votes. Consequently, our burden is time in general. Verse 11 follows with how we are so obsessed with time and having more of it that we are ignorant to what God has done in his existence. We are ignorant to the beauty he has made in this time. On that note, I take you back to the spectrum of scheduling I brought up. Regardless on whether you are free of commitment and take things as they come, or you have planned your life out from birth to death, we surely all have one thing in common. We are all on this running path of time that we can't stop, so we focus on things to fill it. However, we get caught up in this never-ending ball of events. In that time, we forget. We forget to bring our minds back to the one who was there when time was inexistent, the one who created all this beauty in time, the one who wants us to live in the beauty instead of having it as a burden.